Today, we dive into one of society's most divisive issues, the veil. From public spaces to identity, freedom, and cultural integration, we'll unpack it all. If you haven't already, subscribe to the Douglas Murray channel and stay tuned for a heated debate.
People who've actually interacted and worked with women who wear the veil have absolutely no problem with it. I think it's a fear of the unknown.
Douglas Murray, would you like to see the veil banned here?
Well, I think like a majority of British people, I think that it should be banned in public places, particularly places like courtrooms, where it's absolutely imperative that a jury are able to see the faces of people who are accused. As for an overall ban, I think, look, my own opinion is that Niqab is highly undesirable. I think that we live in a society where people do show their faces, where huge amounts of our social interaction depend on people showing their faces. I think that it's very difficult to enforce a ban in public places like streets, but it should be certainly a desirable thing to discourage its wearing.
To impose a ban, but in principle you'd like to see one because you think in Britain it's unacceptable.
In public buildings, in courts, in schools and places like this, absolutely, I think a ban would be very sensible. In streets and so on, I think it's difficult, but it should be societally discouraged.
Fatima?
No, a ban, I mean, I think it's a complete overreaction. Look, the niqab has been part of the British landscape for the last 20-odd years, okay? Muslim women have been going about their business. We've got a radio presenter here, we've got a scientist, we've got talented Muslim women who've got a lot to give to this society, who've been doing so and been very sensible about it. When we need to remove our face veils, we do it. But how do you think we get through airport security?
I mean, what about the fact that 56% of people are saying they don't want...
Douglas Murray kicks off the debate, diving straight into the clash between cultural norms and societal expectations. He asks, should we impose a universal ban on veils, or is mutual understanding the key to resolving this tension? As the conversation unfolds, the question arises, where do identity, freedom, and coexistence truly meet?
Feel uneasy and say they don't want it.
I think then the onus is on us as well, isn't it? I mean, to actually reach out. And I'm hoping that this is just going one step towards that, to say to people, look, you know, we're human beings just like you.
But if I may very quickly, religious freedom is an extremely important thing. And I think most people who would agree, I hope in this room, that Britain is the most tolerant place in the world to live, including as a Muslim.
Yeah.
But let's just add one thing to this, if I may. The issue of social interaction is very important, and not just to me, but obviously to a majority of the British people.
Yeah.
What I say tonight, what Yasmin says and other people say tonight, people see our faces, they know who said it. I'm sorry to say this, but nobody knows who you are. They can hear your name, they can't see you. If I say something stupid on television tonight, people know it's me saying it. If you do, with all due respect, you can disappear and no one knows.
No, we're not disappearing. What does this say? The meaning of this thing is extremely important to address. The meaning of this thing is women are by nature dangerous to men and society. Therefore, they must be covered, they must be buried. That's the meaning of it. And that's what I cannot accept.
I mean, Fatima, come back on exactly that point, because we have spoken to women who say that they cover their faces because they don't want to incite passions among men. I mean, that is essentially Yasmin's point.
Well, look, essentially, I think, you know, that's Yasmin's opinion.
No, it's not my opinion.
Yes, it is. It is your opinion.
Ask the Taliban. Ask Taliban why they're imposing it.
Taliban here.
Yasmin, you know, I'm really sorry. Maybe you haven't really met women in the niqab. I would like to invite you out to my house. You know, you can see my face. We can sit together. We can have a laugh.
Yes, but
and then I think it will change your opinion.
Couldn't come to your house and see your face, though, could he?
I can assure you I'm not going to be aroused.
He could meet my husband. No, you're welcome. You would be welcome to, you know, come to my house.
Hassan, can I ask, I mean, you used to wear the niqab and then changed your mind. Why?
Two main reasons. One was theological. I made some attempt to actually study the whole notion of niqab in Islam, and I found that it's not actually mandatory. The hijab, the headscarf, is mandatory, but the niqab is not. It's part of...
The discussion goes deeper, exploring personal stories and theological insights. Do showing faces foster genuine connection, or is it an infringement on religious freedom? Guests challenge us to rethink the veil. Is it a tool of suppression or a deeply personal choice? This segment will make you question your own assumptions.
Superior and more pious than people.
Nobody has said that today. Nobody has said that today.
Let me just move it out to the audience, if you would. Sophia, I'm right in saying you also used to wear the niqab, and you again decided not to.
Yes.
Why was that?
The reason for that was that, and that was a personal choice. I had an incident where niqab was pulled off me. And it really frightened me, and I became very, very anxious. But I feel very strongly about some of the things that's been said here. One of the things that you've been, for example, Yasmin, you've said about, you know, freedom of speech and how people are threatening you. I think that's completely unacceptable Islamically. You know, we can't be responsible for all the Muslims and for all the people around the world. But I will say that just like you have the freedom of choice to express how you feel, we have the freedom of choice. I have a freedom of choice to not wear a niqab, and she has the freedom of choice to wear a niqab.
That you were forced out of wearing it, or did you come to a different view about it?
Yeah, one of the things it was a very personal choice for me. It meant a lot to me to wear the niqab.
This is not shopping in Primark. This has a meaning, and it's the meaning I'm arguing about.
And actually, but that's your perception.
Let me explain to you the meaning.
Isn't the suggestion of your argument that these women don't know what their own choice is?
That's your perception.
They absolutely do know, which is why I'm objecting to it.
Jasmine, but that's your perception. You think that this is how you. My perception.
Very specific, if you would. You were a psychotherapist.
Yes, I'm a psychotherapist.
But you deal with women who are forced into wearing the niqab.
Another thing I would mention to regarding communication, in the 9 years of counselling with Sakina Muslim counselling that I do, all of my clients, majority of them are all we do phone counselling. And a lot of good work is done. I don't see their face, they don't see my face. So it's not really about looking at someone and really connecting with that person, because we don't connect with the outer, we connect with the inner.
So you think the loneliness that you talked about seeing in these women comes from where?
And not a single person, not a single woman has said to me, my husband has forced me to wear a niqab. What the issues they do have is regards to niqab, I am fearful to go out, I'm at home, I'm lonely, I'm depressed, I don't even want to go out because I feel like I'm not accepted. And the other thing I really want to express is that where is the humanity? You know, at the end of the day, you know, as a woman, as a person, as a human being, where's my right to be who I am? This is my identity.
You have that right. You have that right, and you exercise it, and so are all of the other ladies in this room. But the question is whether or not, and I would ask this of I think of everyone in the room who's covered, do you think that by covering your face from everyone else in society, you are exacerbating difference or making it less bad?
Mariam,
would any of you at least recognise that you are exacerbating a difference?
Is this divisive?
Well, first and foremost, I think we need to look at human rights, okay? In 1998, there was the human right.
In an emotionally charged exchange, guests share transformative experiences with the niqab. Their stories reveal the complexities of wearing it, struggles, triumphs, and moments of defiance. But does it create division, or is it a misunderstood expression of identity? Prepare for an eye-opening perspective that calls for more empathy and less judgment.
We have the freedom of so many things that, you know, like in this country, I thought
Mariam, on Douglas Murray's point, that this is, you know, do you understand that many people feel this is divisive? It is a curtain between you and the rest of society.
Well, to be quite frank, I think people are free to feel how they want. It doesn't, I don't care how you feel. It's really, no, wait. Really and truly, it's about my human rights. My human right, I am allowed to cover. You don't have to
just
agree.
Very briefly on the point that many people in the survey said that they feel unease, they feel uncomfortable, they feel anxious.
Well, to be quite frank, I feel like that towards emos, but that's all right.
Can I just point out, there is something fundamentally ludicrous about somebody dressed as you are talking the language of modern human rights.
Absolutely.
Fundamentally ludicrous.
But that's in your mind. That's in your mind, Douglas.
Kola Hassan.
This lady is constantly talking about rights. As a Muslim, you should know that responsibility is there as well. You have a responsibility to society around you.
Exactly. I'm a community organizer. I'm a scientist. I am engaged with the community, so I'm not isolated.
You have a responsibility. Sorry, 1 second. You have a responsibility in wider society.
Well, obviously speaking, as a Muslim woman right now, you know, all this talk about there being a fear of us. Well, fear stems from ignorance. For them to be fearful, they need to understand us and we need to understand them. Obviously, as British citizens, we do understand them. We were raised in British schools. Some of us go to university here, we work here. We understand the British culture, but do you really understand the Islamic culture?
But pardon me, that's not the role.
You can't possibly understand the British culture because there's been hundreds of years. And my mother's generation, because I too am a Muslim, my mother's generation, they were beaten, bullied and burnt because they wanted to get rid of all of this and be seen as proper equals. You're betraying that history. And this country fought for women's rights. And you've now taken us back to the dark ages.
I'm sorry, but...
Can I just take it from Shabita?
Yes.
You are a doctor within the NHS.
Too.
1 second, please. You are a doctor within the... Excuse me, can we all listen to each other? You're a doctor in the NHS.
Yes, I am.
And obviously that is one of the very public places where...
The debate intensifies as the focus shifts to human rights, societal duties, and the question of cultural integration. One speaker defends the niqab as an unshakable right, while others challenge its effects on social cohesion and gender equality. The clash of historical context and modern fears sparks a pivotal turning point in the conversation. Can we truly reconcile tradition with progress?
Is actually talking about an issue that does not really exist, because me and my friends, have been contacting a lot of doctors all across the 4 countries of United Kingdom, and none of them have ever come across a doctor who actually observed the face veil within NHS, or even a nurse. Exactly. So I don't really see that why an issue that does not really exist is actually being addressed. There is no one, or no doctor or a nurse who actually wears the niqab in NHS,
just very,
even
very
myself,
on that point,
because
though, isn't that an acknowledgement that there is a difficulty for many people, that patients would find it uncomfortable?
No, it's not actually like that, because I am not given a choice to wear it within NHS. When I know it as a fact that if I wear my face veil and go to a job interview, I will never be taken up for a job.
How is it to ask, you all here, how is it that you say it's an absolutely fundamental, you have to wear it, it's a right, it's a necessity upon you, but yet you say you go through an airport and it doesn't matter if you lift it? Is it so negotiable? In France, many of the women who said we cannot go out if we don't wear it have taken it off.
Can I just say,
Shalina.
There is a place where we have the right to exercise our right. And if this was a school or a playground, as far as I'm concerned, the bullies are winning here. There is a majority of people who have the power and resources to put out there an image about the niqab. I teach in schools, and I said to a young bunch of children, I said to them, if somebody came into your school, a boy, and he had nail varnish on, and he had high heels on, and you seen him getting bullied, would you defend his right to be the way he was? Or would you ask him to change the way that he's dressed? Now, this is what I'm saying is, I said that I respected the fact that in context, you said in a courtroom, in the classroom, or in public settings where there are people who have got mixed opinions.
As the conversation moves to real-world implications, we look at the niqab's presence in professional and public spaces, from the NHS to classrooms. Advocates push back against the fears, while critics question its practicality. But beneath the surface, there's a deeper question. Can mutual respect and individual freedom coexist? Or will society's power dynamics dictate our choices? As we conclude, we leave you with lingering questions. How do we balance tradition with progress, freedom with responsibility? Can understanding truly bridge the gaps between us? Thank you for joining this discussion. Until next time, let's keep questioning, challenging, and growing together.